everybody, it's Seth Jones, Editorial Director of Landscape Management Magazine. Today I'm being joined by Eric Zych. He is the Vice President at ILT Vignocchi out in Illinois. Aaron, thanks so much for taking the time to join me.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
Now tell me, where's your guys' service area?
We are the entire Chicagoland area.
Okay.
So mainly focusing on the North Shore of Chicago, sort of from the Lake Bluff area down to Evanston, the Barrington area, and then we do a lot of work up in Lake Geneva, which isn't too far from our office.
Okay, cool.
It's
So tell me about the company. What should folks know about it?
So the company was started in 1969 by my father-in-law. How he sort of got into the business was his uncles, his father, they were Italian immigrants. And what they did when they came here were they were stonemasons. And so here he grew up learning about the sort of the old ways to do masonry work. But here he definitely had that entrepreneurial spirit where he wanted to do his own thing. So he combined that with his sort of love of the outdoors. And in 1969, as I said, he started the company. We are a design, build, maintenance company, commercial and residential. So we try to do everything.
Okay, great. And how did you get into the business? How did you find your way there?
So how I found my way here is I actually, when I was in school, I was in school for to be a landscape architect. And I was an intern here back in 1999. I rolled that into a full-time position in 2000 when I graduated, and I've been here ever since. I met my wife here. I owe my entire family, my kid and everything, to starting to work here from that internship. So yeah, I've been here for 25 years and part of the family business.
That's awesome. I have a very similar story. I met my wife at my previous employer, and I think I mean, that was like my first job out of college, and so yeah, we have a family now, and I think about it's funny how a job led to my family too.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty cool. So cool. Okay, so up in your area, any trends or anything you're seeing with your clientele that you can think might be you're seeing it often enough that it might actually be a trend?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a trend, but I'm just seeing it more and more, especially since the pandemic, where people definitely want to extend that livable space from inside to outside.
Mhm.
So they're asking definitely for maybe some larger spaces, spaces where they can spend out more time outside, maybe bug-free. So there's all these new aluminum pergolas that are hitting the market with the screens that come down, so you can be sort of safe in there in the evening. Those spaces are just becoming, even though they were more popular years ago, since the pandemic, even more popular. Just really the extension of the outside space, the inside space to the outside space.
Okay, good. All right. I always like to ask advice, and when I say advice, it's either advice that you've been given that stuck with you, or is there advice that you like to that you find yourself saying out loud to people you work with?
Yeah, and 3 years ago, I joined a peer group. And since that time, the stuff that I've learned from that peer group, the connections I've made, the growth I've experienced, I would say anyone who is debating joining some sort of peer group or a group to help them grow and get better, if you have that growth mindset, stop hesitating. Do it. I was, for years, I was just debating, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? And I'm an avid reader, and I like sort of growing and learning. But this has joined that peer group and just skyrocketed my knowledge. Because there's always someone in that room, no matter what you're going through, there's someone in that room that has probably gone through that and can help you through it. And that has been such a great thing. So once again, that's my big piece of advice.
Okay.
Stop thinking about it and join the peer groups.
Great. And that's how we met. I know you're part of you're in the ACE peer group with
Yeah.
McFarland, Stanford, and the Grow Group, and we were up in Kansas City with your group, and it's interesting that I'm hearing that answer often. Now, was it you said you had been kind of considering it? So was it just you that wanted it, like from Vignocchi that wanted to do it, or was it the company that wanted to do it?
No, me in particular. When I first graduated in 2000, we went to one of it was called Planet at the time. And I heard Marty speak there back in 2000. And I know he was talking about the peer groups back then, and they become more and more popular. So for years, I was thinking about doing this. And finally, 3 years ago, it was just the timing was right. Let me say that.
Mhm.
For us to pull the trigger. It was, I sort of sat down with my father-in-law and wife and just said, this is something I really want to do to help grow the business and to grow myself. And they were 100% behind all that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, it's funny too for me because it's kind of, even though I'm not in the peer group, but I get to, I've been adopted enough that I've actually gotten some to learn some things and really extended my network too. So it's been great. So I know you did mention you know, that your family, you married, you know, you met your wife. Tell me about your family, like and what do you guys do for fun?
Um, so yeah, my wife is part of the business, so her and I really run it now. My father-in-law is still active in it, but he really has given us and the management team free reign to sort of do what we want to do in terms of growth and the direction we want to head it in. Still sort of following his how we started the business and the core values and all that, but it's really fun. We can sort of get free reign to do what we need to do. My wife and I have a 16-year-old daughter. She is just a great kid. I played the French horn growing up, and she plays the French horn. So we're both music nerds.
Cool.
So yeah, it's great. For fun, actually, honestly, we're all foodies, so we like going out to eat with friends. We have friends that live all over the country, so we really do travel a lot and try to see our friends everywhere. And so I mean that really takes up a lot of our time.
That's awesome. Great, great. Um, let me ask you this. Now you mentioned you guys do design build, right?
Yes.
So I have a question, but I want to ask what's your favorite tool to get the job done? And I'll just shut up and let you talk. What's your
Mhm.
favorite tool?
So my favorite tool is a 3D program called Lumion. So it's based, you take a SketchUp program and it's basically a face program where you take your SketchUp model into Lumion and you can make it look any way you want. You can make it look like real life, make it rain, make it snow, do videos from it. Um, when I started using Lumion about 3, 4 years ago, that has been a game changer in terms of how our team puts out drawings to our clients.
Very cool. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And so here's now the twist on the question. What
Yeah.
is your favorite handheld tool for like on site, like anything that you can think of that you think is a really valuable hand, because I have a one pager in the magazine. We're just asking people for the design build section, what's your favorite handheld tool? Anything come to mind?
You know, I don't know if I can use it specifically for design build, but it's a tool and you can use it on your phone, is anything AI related. So like ChatGPT, the more I use it, the more I like that it can give you ideas and directions to go in, and then you can hone those. But if you're stuck on something, if you need an answer on something, I really like using ChatGPT to really sort of guiding me in a certain direction that I can then take and um, sort of tweak if I needed for ideas and thoughts and things like that.
I'm wondering, just because I'm curious, but like, can you give me an example? Like when you say you get stuck on, like, what would you ask it? Like, what would be something like a problem that would help you solve?
So specifically, let's say, and my wife couldn't believe that I actually use it for this purpose. But for example, let's say you're against a tough sales situation and you're not exactly sure how to handle that. You can sort of start having conversations with ChatGPT and say, listen, I'm in this tough sales situation. I'm not 100% sure how to phrase things or put things to sort of help me through this. And sort of working with ChatGPT will sort of walk you through like, hey, these are some good ideas. And if you work with it for 15, 20 minutes, you can actually get pretty good ideas on, yeah, this is maybe a good approach to and how to handle a tough situation like this.
Okay, cool. So you had the app on your phone then, and you start talking to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. I need to experiment with it more. That's for sure. All right, give me a recommendation. It could be a book, a movie, a podcast, whatever.
um, so I was thinking about this, and let me preface it by saying that, as I said earlier, I'm a huge foodie. Don is a huge foodie. And so I think there's a lot of correlations between extremely high-end restaurants and our industry, sort of front of house, back of house, salespeople versus production. When you go to one of these high-end restaurants, when everything is moving smoothly, front of house, back of house, your experience at that restaurant is second to none. But when there's tension between those two, that you can sort of feel that. And I think the same thing with our industry too. When production and sales are getting along really well, I think everything in your business is going along really well. When there's tension between the job, I don't think the job turns out quite as well as it should. I think the customer feels that. So I always like watching shows like The Bear about high-end restaurants or reading books about that. I just love it. So there's a book by Charlie Trotter called Lessons in Excellence. And so Charlie Trotter was a chef in Chicago. At one point, I think he had the top restaurant in the world. The book's called Lessons in Excellence. And the stuff that he did, just the small little stuff that he did to make sure that his restaurant was the best in the world, just it gets your mind thinking, what can we do as an industry? The little things that can make a big difference and really make our customers' experience with their landscaping, with the projects, better than they could possibly ever imagine. So that book, it's just it gets your mind going and what the possibilities are.
Very cool. Is that book written in like a how-to, or is it like a narrative, or is it like a beginning, middle, and end? Is it like a or is it
Yeah,
like
it sort of starts how he started the business, things he did to really make sure the daily things that they did to make sure that the restaurant was looked perfect, the food was perfect, the service was just great. Um, I don't get into tangent, but there's the one part of the book where the restaurant had a dark blue carpet, and all the tablecloths and napkins were white, and he could not stand the little white pills on the dark blue carpet. It just drove him crazy, and he felt like it just wasn't a complete picture. So he worked with a company to make little sort of sticky, like little sticky things to put on at the bottom of their waitresses' shoes. And so as the wait staff would walk through, they could, if they saw a little pill, they could walk on that and pick it up. And so you wouldn't have these little white pills all over the dark blue carpet. So it's like just little things like that drove him crazy, but little things he focused on. So everyone knew in the organization, like, perfection is the key, not their mediocrity is not an option.
Okay, cool. And when you say pill, what's that? Like, what is a pill?
Well, like like you have just this, like when I say pills, like little droplets from the napkin. These are cloth napkins,
Uh-huh.
like
Okay.
like little
Yeah.
like
Okay.
residue from the napkin,
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay.
the
Interesting.
tablecloth. Yeah.
Interesting. Good. Good stuff. Okay. Do you have a most memorable day at work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I should say the day I met my wife. I mean,
Yeah.
I should be politically correct about this. I don't say it's one. I don't want to say it's one day, but the days that I leave a customer's house where we finished the job, even if we just finished it, or I know we finished it 3 years earlier, and I just happen to bump into the customer and they talk about how much they love the job and the job is looking great. When I walk away from that meeting, I just feel like I'm on cloud nine.
Cool.
Um, and so that is the best feeling in the world, when customers love all the time and effort you've put in, that they actually use the space. Because some customers don't ever use the spaces that you build and maintain. But when you get that feeling that they just absolutely love that space, that is the best feeling. It really is.
Good for you guys. I totally understand what you're saying, and knowing where you guys work in the some of the places that they have out there in
Yeah.
Chicago, it's
Yep.
remarkable. So, Aaron, I think those were all the questions I had for you. I really appreciate you taking the time for me, and this has been fun to learn about you and about the company.
Hopefully, I answered everything that you needed answered
For
for
sure. Oh,
the.
absolutely, absolutely. And so just for let me switch my view here. And so Aaron, appreciate your time again. And just one more time, everybody, this is Aaron Zych. He is the Vice President of ILT Vignocchi out in the Chicagoland area. I'm Seth Jones. Thanks for watching us here on Landscape Management TV. Thanks, Aaron.
Great. Thank you so much, Seth.
Cool.